the first 3 years, I was thinking on closing, but there was something in me that I didn't want to do that. No, let's keep going. We have a market that is very traditional, that's going to change a bit in the time. So let's do it. And after 6 years, everything changed a bit. And after 10 years, the things change even more.
Welcome to the Restaurant Leaders Unplugged Podcast, where real talks with restaurant leaders take center stage. Discover the challenges and victories that define success in the culinary world. Dive into essential strategies from marketing to operations and gain insights that will transform your approach to your restaurant business. Don't just keep up, lead the way. Join me, your host, Sebastian Stahl, on this journey to excellence. Jaime, again, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure. Of course, been following your track record and everything that you've been doing. Of course, we've known each other for a long time. So anyways, it's really exciting to have this conversation with you.
Hello, thanks for the invitation, and it's my pleasure.
Thank you, Jaime. So let's get started. So can you start sharing a little bit about, your journey in the early days? I know a little bit about your history, but would love for you to share and how you got started and what really guided you or what inspired you to follow this path that you're on.
I think my background, it starts around 25 years ago because I started in the 99s. I study in INAT, then turns to Cordon Bleu. What inspires me to study or to enter to this gastronomic world, it's basically the food. I love to eat. I love the food. Besides how I eat at home when I was young or whatever, that any of my family didn't cook. My mother doesn't cook at all. A bit my grandmother, but I born with this anxious to eat. I love the food. When I was young, when I woke up, even now, my first question is what I'm going to have for lunch. So a little bit it's that because it's a passion that I have since I was very little. Well, and I started 25 years ago. I study in INAT that turns then to Le Cordon Bleu. In the middle of the studies, I went to work, make some practices to Colorado, to Aspen. I work in Pinion's restaurant and in a restaurant in the mountain. I was there for a season. Then I came back, keeping studying. Then I practice in very good restaurants here in Peru. Then when I finished the studies, I went to Italy, to Europe, to make a master and work there a couple years. Then I returned. I was the chef at a restaurant in Barranco called Al Grano for 4 years. Then I was going back to Europe, but it appeared the possibility to open Maita. So at first I have some doubts, but then I rethink the opportunity, and sometimes you have that opportunity twice. So I took it. But when I took the opportunity, it was a year for constructions, permissions, etc. So I used that time to go back to Europe. So I went to Spain a bit there, and I work at El Celler de Can Roca, and then come back, open the restaurant, and that's how everything starts 16 years ago. I was 9 years going around, work for other chefs, for other people, but my own startup was 16 years ago here in Lima, and I never stopped because then appeared different opportunities to open different concepts like 500 grados, 500 degrees, like Sapiens, Matt Burger. I have some restaurants outside Peru. Not a lot, but some of them. And now, 5 years ago, Maita do a great job. We make a great job in the concept part of Maita. We develop very nice Peruvian tasting menu. We entered to the 50 best restaurants in the world 3 years ago. And that's what we do. We try to do vanguard kitchen with the pantry of Peru. And we try not just to show our creativity, our proposal. We try to export culture, Peruvian culture, through gastronomy.
Right,
That's
right.
the goal. That's the goal.
So,
Show what we do, obviously, but what we try to do best is to promote the culture through gastronomy, the Peruvian culture. I
right,
always
right.
say that our restaurant it's a small embassy of our culture.
Mm-hmm. So let me back up a little bit here. And how did you, and I know you were at Sierra de Can Roca and all these things that all of these experiences that you had in Europe. How did those experiences shape your culinary style and philosophy? Did they have an impact in what you do today? Because I know you do Peruvian food, but did that had an impact in the way that you cook?
I think the style I sharp the style in Peru because we have
Mm-hmm.
a very antique techniques that we try to put it in its end now. But
Mm-hmm.
what Europe do to me is shape me a little bit in a way of discipline, a little bit of how we think creativity, how you have to respect the products, things like that. But here in Peru, my kitchen was sharp here in Peru because
Mm-hmm.
of the antiques techniques. I will pantry and go around Peru, visit Peru, and I think
Right.
that exercise for me who I am now, no? But the
Yep.
discipline, the technique, the working in as a team, and the respect to the products, obviously, give me that Europe. How you have to love the product to respect them, and probably in the
Right.
US, the discipline, no?
Right. 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 And of course, you mentioned that Maita is now in the 50 best, and that's not a small feat. That's quite an accomplishment. And could you describe? I mean, I know you described the concept a little bit before, but could you describe the concept, behind it and what makes it so unique? Because there's a lot of Peruvian restaurants out there, but what makes Maita unique?
I think what makes Maita unique is two things, two
Mm-hmm.
pillars. One is
Mm-hmm.
the pantry of Peru,
Mm-hmm.
and then the creativity of how we use it in the concept. And the mix of these two, it born a new thing that it's different. That what we try to do here is to be unique. You can like another restaurant more than mine, or mine
Mm-hmm.
more than the other one. But the thing is, what we want to create is a unique experience that you can compare to the other one. You can maybe like more the experience of the next restaurant or more the flavor or whatever. But the
Right.
thing is, we must be unique. That the experience here it's unique, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what we always talk about, and we always want to do, no? Because
Right.
when you eat the steps of the tasting menu, they are unique. You can compare with the other restaurant tasting menu or dish because we respect the traditions, we respect the bases, the flavor, but what you see on the plates, it's something totally new for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course, Maita is, I think the staple for you, the flagship, I suppose. But tell me also about your other concepts. You mentioned Sapiens and, all your other concepts, Mad Burger. Tell me a little bit about your restaurants.
Well, the thing is, at some point after 10 years of Maita, the concept was aligned, all was well structured. So, because I'm a chef and I work with creativity, I was even after that long time born something in me as an entrepreneur.
Right.
So I try to mix the creativity with entrepreneur and try to make some healthy business, but always with the creativity. Even if I make a casual brand, a new concept, it has to be different. It has to be creativity on there. Must be difficult for you to compare the concept with another restaurant. And besides, as I say before, it could be casual or whatever, but it has to be very creativity and different. And that's how it burns 500 degrees and the open fire restaurant Sapiens. And Matt Burger, it was born in a pandemic, was a necessity. It was necessary to keep going on, and I love the burger. So what it's the difference of Matt Burgers from the others? It's
Right.
besides there is a chef there, also the ingredients.
Right.
It's
Right.
a fast casual or even a delivery brand, but the quality is there and it's impeccable.
Right. Right. So besides that, of course, we know your reputation, Jaime, your restaurants and everything, and the concepts that are great. How do you see, the role of PR and marketing in the success of your restaurants? I know that operations is key, and of course, everything that you do. But has that played a role also, do you think, in the success of your restaurants and in your success?
It's very difficult to say that it's that we use PR and marketing for sure. I don't know.
Mm.
I think it's the sum of many things, but obviously, I think even now a PR and marketing area, or you can like hire a company to do that. I think it's very important. Now it's very important. It's
Right.
too much info. We have too much information in the head. You need professionals to align that, to help you how to communicate, why is very important. Why?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I think in these times, it's a must to have a marketing and PR company or area that support your thoughts and to align
Agreed.
your thoughts, because you are not good in everything. So you can have an idea, but you need a team to organize that idea and to show the best way.
True. And I totally agree. And also, Jaime, I know that, collaboration has been a big part of your journey, including our work together at Sevilla Hospitality Group in Miami, collaborate with different partners and people. But how do you choose the right partners, and what do you believe makes a successful partnership in the restaurant industry?
For example, how I have this partnership in Miami, I think depends on people. Besides, what is your quality or what you can apport to the business, that it's very,
Mm.
very important. It's a lot of relationship. It's a lot of how you feel working with the other persons.
Mm.
And as I say before, besides your quality work or your
Right.
skills, it's how you are as a person that it's very important, no? And
Uh-huh.
if I have to say something about working with another type of education, and I say education of probably another country, how things works, because every country, the things work kind of different.
Mm.
It's very nice because you don't just apport something to them or to the market in general. You learn a lot, and that's very important. For example,
Mm.
what I learned looking and going to Miami to that structure, it's helped me a lot to rethink things here in Lima, and put some of the things I learned there. So it's very important because it's very
Mm.
rich back and forward.
Right.
No.
No, definitely. Everything's a learning process. Everything's a learning experience. And so, Jaime, when we're talking about your cuisine and of course your work, I know that you're very creative in everything that you do. How do you continuously push the boundaries of what's possible in the kitchen? Because I mean, to stay at the level that you're at with your restaurants, where do you
No,
find
there's
inspiration? What do you do to keep pushing forward with this
I
and
think the,
involved?
the inspiration is the concept in see the
Mm-hmm.
concept, but the inspiration is the pantry of Peru and the culture. The
Mm.
culture, the Peruvian culture, because we make our dishes, not just the food. We make the plate sometimes with the hand, how they do it 200 years ago. So we inspire in the culture and in the pantry. But if you
Mm-hmm.
want to be in vanguard at this level, the world
Yeah.
level, that you must be one of the tops in creativity in the world, there is at some point that you can begin by yourself alone.
Mm.
But there is a point that you can't stop and you have to work as a team. So
Mm.
what I have now is a development team that we call
Mm-hmm.
Desarrollo. That is a
Mm-hmm.
space that have their own kitchen with books, with computer machines and everything. And I have 3 guys that work there 24/7 with me
Mm.
and with my right hand that it's called Santiago. So we work 5 people in creativity all the time, not just me.
No.
Now it's 5 people, because if you want to go vanguard and doesn't stop and keep showing
Mm-hmm.
modern and
Keep pushing the
vanguard.
boundaries.
You have to work as a team and align them
That's
for sure. No,
right. 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 That's fantastic. I mean, it requires collaboration.
but it's
That's it.
like imagine a fabric or whatever that makes juices and they have to create flavors. There's no what people you have there, probably 5 figs, because it creates dynamics. You question things, so you grow different and you propose things different and more compact and more well done.
Definitely. Definitely. Oh yeah. And so, Jaime, just take us back a little bit because we're talking about where you're at now, but also I know the beginnings of Maita was not easy. You've shared your story with me, and I think every restaurateur and entrepreneur has gone through these things. But can you take us back to those early days where you kept going in spite of the difficulties? I know that at some point that you were really struggling at the beginning with the restaurant. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
The first 5 or 6 years was very hard. I broke up 3 or 4 times. I was lucky because I sold some things that I had to keep going. Always. Also, what Gaston Acuro make a great job here in Peru to export the cuisine. So I had some opportunities to make consultancy that some of them I didn't want to make it, but it was a necessity. So I took it and that helped to put some money to the restaurant to keep going. And it was very hard the first 5 years probably. But then things starting to happen. The first 3 years I was thinking on closing, but there was something in me that I didn't want to do that. No, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We have a market that is very traditional, that's going to change a bit in the time. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And after 6 years, everything changed a bit. And after 10 years, the things change even more for better. So the past 5 years or 6 years was the best years of Maita. Different opportunities. We make more creativity because we use our time to make other things. Now we have a team. Now we have a structure. So now I'm more free to work in the creativity that I had before. And I'm now more relaxed to do that. Before I have many problems that you think your creativity and you work on that as well. But with the head, with that on mind that keeps you like anxious or whatever, now I feel more free than before.
Yep. I think that every, business owner, entrepreneur goes through this process that you're describing. And a lot of people just see your success now. Just like, oh, you got there like really quick, but they don't know the backstory, how hard it was at the beginning, how you got close to to wanting to close and give up. And so, that's how, a lot of businesses, grow. It takes time and continuous effort, and you believe in yourself, which is, I think, the most important part.
And the truth is, people see just the top of the iceberg, no? As many people say, but I don't know if I'm successful. I don't know if my company is successful because what is a success for you? I'm in this 25 years, and I think I just get into the place or the space I was dreaming on 25 years ago. And now I think I'm there, but it's not a thing of money, because if I want to feel success in money as a business, I need more time too. But as a chef, as a chef, that it's no for this the creativity. I think I just got there a couple years ago, but it takes me 23 years to show what I do, to evolve and many things. And obviously, I think I'm still young. I have 45 years. I feel young, but I'm in 25 years doing this. So it's kind of some years, no?
Definitely.
And that's the worry for the new generations. Even I try to tell that to my daughters as well. It's now people is very anxious and people like things tomorrow or now, but good things takes time, and sometimes takes more time than you thought. So for me, it took 25 years, and I think I have to make more goals to be success as I want to be. but
Right.
I work for 25 years and it's bunch of years. But success or things doesn't happen from a night to a day to a morning.
Agreed.
It takes time and takes a lot of hard work.
Yep. Couldn't agree more, Jaime. You know me, it's, also an entrepreneur, and I know things take a lot of time. They take way more time than you could envision. And I think it's about what you're saying, right? Just kind of staying in the moment, staying in the present moment, doing what you're doing that day. And yes, having a vision forward, but you can't get all angsty and think you're going to accomplish things super quick. And that's something that with the generation now happens a lot.
An advice I can say it's the goal doesn't have to be the money. Doesn't have to be the money. When the goal is the money, everything goes wrong. I don't know why, but the goal is not the money. And also what I can say, it's besides that the goal doesn't have to be the money. It's you have to enjoy the journey, because when there is a time that you say, okay, I'm in the position I always want to be, then what you do? The journey is the most exciting things, because it's where you learn. When you fall and then walk up again. So that's the important thing, because that's why it makes you the man or the woman or the person you are later, no? So the journey is the most important thing, and you have to enjoy that. You have to enjoy it, and you have to believe in yourself.
Agreed. So Jaime, now that we're talking about entrepreneurship, and you know that this road, as I've experienced it, it can be lonely sometimes. Have you ever felt isolated in your career, and how do you manage, or how did you manage like going through these, feelings? And, you've been doing this for 25 years.
The thing is, when you work on your dreams and you turn into entrepreneur, and the most difficult thing, for sure, a long time you will feel alone. But what is very important is to create a team that is better than you in some areas, and to let them feel that your dream and your journey, they must feel that it's the journey and the route for them as well. That's the difficult thing, because to do that, they must believe in you, and they must believe in you. You don't know how much. And that's the difficult thing, because in my part, in what I do, I can cook well, but many people can cook well. But I'm making this structure and fight for a goal, and everybody must fight together the same way, with the same vision. That's the difficult thing, to be a leader. That's the most difficult thing. And that's not everybody have it with you. Even if you have a talent, if you don't have this leadership, you don't go anywhere, never.
Agreed. You're speaking. Yep. You're speaking the truth, man. But that's for sure. And so, as part of this journey, Jaime, I know that you also expanded into international markets and bringing Peruvian cuisine there. What were some of the most significant obstacles that you encounter while doing this? I know that some of your projects, Pacifico, like there's other projects that you've done in the past. How's that experience been for you?
You must study a little bit the market, because you have to show your concept, or your concept, Peruvian concept. But you have to study the market, because some market doesn't like too much spicy, for example, or too much meat, and you have to adapt a bit, because the soul must be there, but you have to adapt a bit. And also, what is difficult, two more things. One, if you must find the minimum of ingredients so you can develop a proper way your concept. And the other one, obviously, is the operator. You must have a good operator. You must have a good people that will take care of your baby, no?
Yep. Of your concept, everything. Definitely. And keeping in this subject that we're talking about, entrepreneurship and everything that it takes, I know that you have a family too, Jaime, and like going through this process. in everything that you're doing. How do you find balance? Because I know you're also always, traveling and doing all these projects. How do you find balance between, family and work? Because that's also,
Be,
something that I encounter as a business owner.
be,
And everybody does.
because as a leader in the family, not me, because leader is my wife as well. But you must have a great communication, because they must understand that you have a purpose in life, that the most important one is the family for sure. But as a person, as a goals, you must show them and make them be part of yours, so they will understand your absence sometimes, and when your head is in somewhere else. But still, you have to be responsible, because if you decide to be a father or a husband, you must be a good one as well as a worker, no? So it's a balance, but you learn about the balance during the journey. Nobody knows at the beginning, and you think the wave is gonna pass you, but at the end you learn everything.
True.
As you learn to be a father, as you will learn to be a husband, as the work, as your career, you learn in the journey.
Yep.
The only thing is you have to be a leader, and you have to communicate well, because it's the only way they understand that if you don't catch those goals, you are not going to be happy. And the key in the family is your happiness. When you are very happy, when you're happy, they will be happy. Your daughters, or in my case, are gonna be happy. If I have a good relationship with my wife, they're gonna be well.
Agree. I mean, that's been my experience too. Communication is so key, and understanding from both parts, right? Because if we want to get on this journey, like, we know it's not easy, and especially in the restaurant industry, the hours are crazy, and that's just the way it is, so accepting that. And reflecting back on your journey, Jaime, with a lot of lessons that you've learned, of course, what do you think is the most important lesson that you learned, both professionally and personally? And, how does that shape to you today?
You have to be patient, and you have to be consistent and leader. But if you have these two, probably you're a leader. But you have to be patient and consistently. With those two things, you can catch things.
Right. And has there been anything in your career, like something that has happened, that's something that really profoundly impacted you and changed you on a personal level?
No, probably having a family. Probably having a family that I have something on mind, and I have my baby that it was Maita, and that's my only thing in life. But then appeared a wife and a family that at the end turns more important than your work. So at the end, that is the journey that you have to work and put them in the right position, both of them in an important part of your life, and make them work together. Yeah, that's a part. Well, I'm married 15 years ago, so I think I already learned about that, and I keep learning as well. But I think I position both things in my life that make sense for me, makes sense for the restaurant, makes sense for my family.
Agreed.
Or at least I think so.
I'm learning every day. I'm still learning every day. I'm also married. I have kids, as you know, but it's always a challenge. But I continue to learn. Definitely is the most important thing. I agree. And so I know that also in your position, and especially again in the restaurant business, we deal with a lot of stress. And as a business owner, that's just a given. So how do you deal with that? Are there anything specific that you do to how to
with the stress
get that under control? Yeah, stress.
The thing is, sometimes I stress myself, but I think it's experience. It's difficult to handle the stress at the beginning, but during the journey, you learn how to manage the stress. Because if you don't know how to manage stress, and the stress gets you, and you don't handle the stress, at the end you can't be a good entrepreneur. I think so. You can't be a good entrepreneur if you don't handle your stress. Because if you don't handle your stress, the stress kills you.
Yeah, I agree. You got to be able to manage pressure.
Yes, and because at the end, this is the game, no? And your life, and it's more important than the game. But you have to focus the life like a game. The work is like a game. You have to focus that way, because then when it's too serious, it's stressful, and you can handle that.
Yeah, agreed. And looking back, Jaime, is there anything that you would have done differently in your career or personal life, given the wisdom that you have now, like everything that you learned?
No, the thing is, I don't have regrets, because I think I have a lot of bad things that I do, bad things or wrong things, but that turns in what I am now as a father, as an entrepreneur, as a chef, as a leader. So obviously I look back and say, I wouldn't do that now, but that turns what I am now. So that's learning, no? I have regrets, but light regrets, not a regret that I say I don't kill anybody, you know. I just make mistakes that turns me in what I'm now, no?
Yeah, yep. And what's one of the hardest decisions, Jaime, that you've had to make in your career? Of course, going through this whole process, is there anything that stands out?
Yeah, move. I make a move of Maita 6 years ago, and I was very anxious, kind of scared at the new thing, but I make it, and I'm very happy now, and I think was the best decision. But I think one of the hardest decision was moving after 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, it's been a success, so that's great. If you could go back, and give your younger self one piece of advice, let's say Jaime 25 years ago, or a little bit even before that, is there any advice that you actually would give yourself as a younger person now with everything that you know now?
Be focused, be disciplined, and try to be a good father. But right. I think I was before I was more anxious, but the journey showed me that and makes me mature in that way as well. So now I think I handle it. Obviously, I am anxious many ways still, because it's normal, but I think now I can handle it. I could be very anxious, but I sleep at night.
Sure. Right. And so would that be kind of the same advice that you would give other new restaurateurs, like people getting in the industry, getting into this business?
It's important to say that I say that now because I learned, because 12 years I sleep no more than 3 hours per night. At least 12 years. 12 years, because I was very anxious, very stressed, and the years show me to handle that. But it's a process and it's a learning.
Right. We don't learn by other people's experiences or by reading about it. We learn by our own experience. That's the only way.
Yes. And when I say that the goal, it's not important to be the money, the goal. Even knowing the money is important, because make you more relaxed and more flexible to walk forward. But I always say that the money must not be the goal. The goal must be different. Agreed.
And looking ahead, Jaime, what excites you most about the future, for your restaurants, and what new projects you have going on?
Keeping what we're doing, showing the culture of Peru through gastronomy, because that makes me happy, because I feel that I'm doing something for my country, and try to export the Peruvian cuisine through the world. It's not easy, it's not fast, but we are on that journey, and we must do a lot more of things, but we're on that journey. We're not hurrying. We just want to do it the proper way.
Would that be the legacy you think that you would hope to leave in the culinary world? Just continue to export all of these great things about the Peruvian cuisine and its ingredients and its products, like everything you guys produce?
Yes, I think that's the goal. And the other goal that I have is to form people, to form new chefs, to form new entrepreneurs, to form people that will do the things that I do now with their view. But that makes me very, very happy.
Right. And just to wrap up, Jaime, I just want to ask you a question that I think our audience would find inspiring. In a world where success can often seem like an elusive destination, what does true success mean to you? And how do you know when you've achieved it? Because we've talked about those things, but can you define it now?
for some people, it's the money that I think it's wrong. For some people, it's being a success in what they do and know it for that. People know them for that. And if you can combine both, that's excellent. The thing is, what was my mission and what was my goal? It's to be a leader of vanguard Peruvian cuisine in a country that is known for their cuisine, and it's a capital of gastronomy in the world. And I think now I achieved that, and that's the best goal for me. But I have more goals. The other goals is to promote gastronomy or culture through the world, and I'm in that process. And if in that combinations, obviously I can make a little money, that will be great.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Jaime. Well, thank you so much. And Jaime, for anybody that's listening in our audience that wants to get in touch with you for any projects, of course, within the US or anywhere really in the world, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, Instagram.
Okay, perfect. They look for your Instagram, Jaime Pesaque Restaurants. They'll definitely find you at Maita Restaurant if they look it up, and they can send you a message and get in touch with you there. Yeah.
Oh, and obviously they could come to Lima and try a little bit of what we do.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, no, definitely. Jaime, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was a great conversation, a lot of great things. And I definitely hope to speak to you soon and visit you soon in Lima.
That's great. Thank you. My pleasure. And Lima and Maita, you're home whenever you want.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you.